Good evening and salutations, my Days of Alive fans. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I really didn't like this episode. I really didn't like this episode. Oh my goodness, I did not like this episode. You know, the one one saving grace about watching this episode, watching on Peacock, and usually, there's commercials and everything like that. Unless you pay the certain extra fee or whatever. But this episode did not have any commercials, and I think that was probably the one saving grace is that I just got to get it over with. Okay, just get it over with. Here's the thing: days. I will sit there and say that there's a lot of times where GH will sit there and oh, it'd be. I don't want to sit there and say a failure, but it's very lackluster at times. Like today's episode was very lackluster, but this is the first time in a long time I can actually sit there and say, my goodness, even though Jake's wasn't really great, it just like it was still somehow better than I don't know. Let's just get into this episode. So Jennifer and Jack come back. They're upset. You got Kayla and Steve. They're upset. They go and see the body. It's sad as hell. Jack says some words. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm pretty sure it was a very heartfelt speech. I was just kind of on my phone. I just here's the thing about Abby's death that's just it's just making me be like, eh. First of all, I will sit there and say that this actress killed it when she exposed Gwen, and Chad was just like, yo, just sit. He was like, because Justin was like, I was about to call him that. Justin was like, should I try to stop this? What should we do? And Chad was like, just sit back and enjoy the show. And I felt like this was her personality that, the actress put into, Abby in this scene. It was great. She was having so much fun. I swear I felt like she was laughing through half of it because she was just having way too much of a good time. Okay? So she killed it. And I'm like, it was great. But the thing that doesn't really work for me is kind of the same thing that didn't really work for me when they killed off Nathan. When they killed off Nathan, and you know, we knew, the inside people knew, if you did your Googles or whatever, you knew that the actor wanted to leave. He wanted to leave. So, for me, when the character got killed off, it was like I gotta sit there and hear people whine and complain. And granted, I mean, like whine and complain as far as like the actors. I mean, as far as like the characters, like Nathan death was so hard and this, that, and the third. I'm just like, yeah, I don't really feel that way. I feel like the actor just chose to leave, so this is what we gotta sit there and put up with for the next, I don't know, 2 months or so. That's awesome. And I feel like that's kind of the same way in this show. I mean, granted, they're doing all the right things, okay? Everyone upset, everyone is grieving, everyone is sad, and, you know, it's touching, okay? Just for me personally, it just doesn't work. So if I come across as being kind of a dick, I'm not trying to be, it's not really, it's not doing anything for me. So Chad is hallucinating Abby, and I'm just like, oh, why are we sitting there doing this for her? This almost reminds me again of GH when Nicholas lost Emily, and Emily was there for the final couple of days or whatever, being some sort of how she was. Oh, she was a hallucination until they decided to bring her back as a different character, and it didn't work. But I feel like it's the same thing. It's like watching her, just be like, "Hey, what's going on? Why you seem like you lost your best friend?" I'm just like, how long are we gonna sit there and deal with this for? So Rafe comes in, Rafe goes upstairs, and he wants to sit there and try to look through stuff. Now he looks through the jewelry box. He knows that the jewelry box and the petty cash, which in the end was so not petty cash, was in a jewelry box. So you know, what Rafe said was maybe the killer made it look like it was a robbery that went wrong and it was something else. So let's not just sit there and you know, oh, this was a robbery because everyone is rich and money. It could have been that, or it could, like, don't look at the obvious. That I think that's what Rafe was Snit they're trying to say. Now, before I say this next part, I okay, serious. Chad is coming back home, and this is where I got to sit there and I guess give a positive spin before I give a negative spin. I can't imagine coming back from the hospital with the love of your life's blood still on your shirt. The sweat, the perfume, everything. I just I can't even begin to imagine that. So, when he walked to that to the house, whatever, it was hell. He literally looked like hell. Um, and so after Rafe left, because he was when Rafe was, he was like, "Yo, did you find a girl? Did you find anyone? Then what the hell are you doing here?" So we're gonna go upstairs and gonna be able to find something. Okay, cool. Let's go. I 100% get that. Kate comes in there and Chad acts like a dick. Now, I get it. I get it. Okay, before, like, well, Chad is going through a lot. This is why I did what I like to call the compliment sandwich. Okay, and I get it. But him lashing out at Kate doesn't do anything. So he lashes out at Kate and he's all like, oh, you probably wanted her dead. Did you kill her? Did you kill her because, you wanted me, you wanted her to keep quiet and you thought she wouldn't keep quiet because of your son. And then I guess Kate said something as far as Lucas knew that Kate knew. Now at this point, Chad is sitting there and like, was Lucas? Did Lucas kill my wife? That's the vibe that he has. Um, I'm not gonna lie. Part of me felt like I should have probably did this. Should have did this one last. Um, so Leo comes into the jail to see Gwen, and Leo's like, "Listen, I got something to tell you." So Leo tells Gwen that Abby's dead, that she's been stabbed. Gwen does not seem like she is heartbroken. She does not seem like she is nothing. She's just like, "Oh, so did you kill her? Did you do it? I mean, you had this whole revenge thing towards Abby." I'm like, "Sweetheart, your half sister just got murdered. Okay, I get that y'all had y'all issues and everything like that, and you didn't like her, but damn, you really are, oof, girl, you are how do I put this nicely? You are a piece of garbage. Okay, I mean, granted, she did sit there and say, well, I feel bad for Jack. I was like, oh, you feel bad for Jack. Okay, well, I guess this is the best that we can do with this character as far as giving any sort of humanity. So, okay, fine. So after they go back and forth, like, oh, because there's a point where Leo's like, did you do it? But these people getting out of prison all the time. There was a point where the guard was like, where did you go? And Gwen was like, oh, I was doing something. I was in the library. I fell asleep behind a book or something like that. And, how those things are. At this point, it could be anyone. But I will sit there and say that I don't feel like it's Leo. I haven't been watching the show that long, but I'm 99% sure it's not Leo. Okay? I'm 99% sure it's not Leo. Because Leo's like, listen, Leo did sit there and say to Gwen, like, you don't seem like you're broken up about it at all. And he's like, listen, I may not have liked the woman, and I wanted revenge. There's a fine line between revenge and whatever that was. He was like, that made me sick to my stomach. Leo is a lot of things. But being a killer, no. Um, I gotta finish watching the interview. Um, is this channel called The Locker Room? The actor that plays Leo, sat down with it, to do an interview with him or whatever, and it was actually kind of interesting. I gotta finish watching it. Anyway, they kind of both realized like, all right, well, you didn't do it, and I didn't do it. Okay, well then who did it? Now, here's the thing: after this whole grieving period, and everyone starts, because it's still gonna go on. But now at this point, there's a killer on the loose. So at some point, they're gonna get to like, all right, we gotta sit there and find out who this person is. Otherwise, we gotta sit there and catch the killer. And we got to make sure that this person doesn't strike again. Now, Lucas wakes up with a hangover and a cut on his hand. And he goes to he goes to the bar. He asks Roman, he's like, yo, did you see Kate? Because she's going to kill me because I really dipped on her. You know, it's kind of odd because it was like, bro, you were sober for years. Like, what really drove you over the edge? I mean, was you really that concerned with Abigail? Like, not keeping her mouth shut and you finding out being exposed for, being you, I guess. um, but Roman's like, listen, listen, listen. And he tells her. I mean, he tells him about Abby and everything like that. Okay? They are so close together. I'm still trying to. I gotta sit there and go to a Wikipedia because apparently Lucas is Abby's uncle or something. I'm not really too sure. Niece, they're so. Again, I make this joke, which is not really a joke, but I'm like, I'm surprised no one kissed each other by accident and realized they were cousins. I mean, when you think about it, with Chanel and Abe's son, I can't remember his name, or maybe this episode just kind of disappointed me, and now I just can't really think too clear. Theo, Theo. The Cosby Show actually made me think. I was like, okay. Um, when Theo and Chanel almost, they kind of got scared for a little bit, like, yo, we like cousins or whatever, because we did a lot of stuff. Yeah, he's heartbroken about it. Now, Jack, I'm assuming it's going to be going to see Gwen because Steve says something to Kayla like, oh, yeah, Jack was here, he left or whatever, he had to go and do something. So I guess we'll find out where he went. That's and like I said, Leo. Oh, I don't know if I said this, but Leo was the one that took the cash and the jewelry. Now, at this point, he's doing it to sit there and kind of stay afloat since he doesn't have a job, and I don't know what the hell he's not there doing. But between him, I guess going back to Damaro's place, this is something else. Johnny was like, this place is a fortress, but people can get in and out whenever the hell they want. Did anyone else sit there and think about those hidden tunnels or anything like that? Like, um, there was more to this episode that I just didn't really like. Besides, um, well, the hallucination scene with Abby. I'm just like, yo, you gonna like? You said you were leaving. Like, what are you still? Why are we doing this for? I also feel like nothing else really happened. Like, besides, the thing with Leo. It was like, all right. What else happened in this episode? I feel like nothing else really happened, like in this episode, that really kind of drove the story a little bit forward. And maybe that's why there wasn't really that many commercials. I can't think of a reason why they just did not bother to put any commercials. Um, in this episode, but yeah, that was another reason. It wasn't just the app. I was like, there was something else besides that just didn't really work for me. Anyway, I said this in my GH review, but I'm saying it in this review. I'm sorry for this video coming out so late. I had a long day and I had to sit there and power nap because I just would have been kind of dragging throughout this video if I didn't. Since I'm off tomorrow, I can actually start to get stuff done a lot earlier and you know, get out my review on time instead of it being at 9 o'clock at night because that's not what I wanted. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.